Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So there's a rumor swirling around that Stellantis might be cutting their MSRP prices, potentially by a lot. This story first popped up on TK's Garage YouTube channel. Now, I'm not familiar with that channel's content, so I can't say much about the overall credibility. So I had to try and find other sources, and I have to be honest with you guys, I couldn't find anything to confirm it. It seems like speculation for the most part, and there are a lot of people on YouTube predicting a car market crash.
Breaking the car market crash that everybody's been looking for.
And I'm confident in saying that we are heading toward a car market crash here in 2025. It truly is going to be the great reset of the car market as we know it.
I think right now for a lot of these car dealerships and a lot of these manufacturers, we're going to begin a race to the bottom. Starting right now, we're going to see a much different car market than we have experienced in the last few years.
So this rumor has caught on like wildfire. But let's dive into the backstory and see why something like this could even be on the table. So to give you guys some context, Stellantis has been facing some tough times. If you follow any news on the auto industry, you'll know they recently had their CEO step down. Last year, their sales dropped by 15%. To my understanding, every brand in Stellantis, which includes Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler, had a dip in sales. On top of that, their brand image has taken a hit. Their former CEO raised prices aggressively during the shortages, and then he cut costs like crazy, and then repositioned brands like Jeep, shifting them from a rugged, working-class vibe to more of a luxury brand. He truly was the embodiment of the shift the car market took and what made car prices unaffordable for so many people today. To my understanding, they were raising prices even when they knew sales were going down. But now with that former CEO gone, at least from that position, because I believe he's still on the board of directors, but nonetheless, they're exploring new strategies to turn things around. Cutting prices could be part of that plan. Actually, correction, cutting prices has to be part of that plan. I just don't see how it's not part of it. Lowering MSRPs might help them regain customer trust and boost sales, but the key word there is might, because I don't know if their lost customer base will come back either way. Desperation can lead to bold moves, and Stellantis might just be desperate enough for a 35 to 30% reduction in prices all across the board. But let's look at the other side. There are reasons why this might not happen. In fact, it probably won't happen. I hope I'm wrong, but hear me out. First, there's the board of directors and shareholders. They're not going to jump on board with a risky move unless there's a strong evidence it'll work. And right now, honestly, there's no evidence that such a cut is needed to begin with, because while a 15% drop in sales last year is bad, it's not catastrophic, especially given what they were going through and all the bad PR. Stellantis might feel that a smaller cut, say 10 to 15%, could be enough to get them back on track without taking drastic measures. Maybe even couple that with some small production cuts. Bottom line, it just doesn't feel all that necessary. I talk about the car market here all the time, and these greedy car makers are getting away with higher prices. I mentioned in the last video that in the last quarter of 2024, 1 in 5 new car buyers signed up for payments of $1,000 or higher. Stellantis can get away with higher prices. Stellantis so far has been trying to get away with not high prices, but with ridiculous prices, and that's what got them in trouble. All they need is a little bit of common sense to correct this issue. But there's another aspect of it. Even if they do cut MSRPs, that won't guarantee lower prices. Because forget about the automakers, the auto dealers or dealerships know that there's a certain price that moves metal and sells cars. And if they get cars well below that price, guess what they'll do? Put on markups and add-ons to cover the difference and take the profit for themselves. So, for example, let's say Stellantis takes down a vehicle from $50,000 to $35,000, but the dealers know that customers will buy it at around, say, $42,000 because the market is high. Guess what the dealerships will charge? Probably over $42,000. So even if Stellantis did make the cuts, I highly doubt we'll see them because dealers know the market can sustain higher prices. So what's my honest take on this rumor? I just don't think it's going to happen, at least not in the way the rumor suggests. A 30 to 35% cut in MSRPs just feels too extreme. If Stellantis does lower prices, it'll probably be closer to a modest 10 to 15%. Still, it's interesting to see the speculation and consider what this could mean for the market. Because this would definitely shake the car market if it were to happen. I'm talking about other car makers being forced to cut prices by 20 to 30% to try to compete with Stellantis. But I just don't see that happening. Guys, you have to understand, the auto industry as a whole had a successful year in 2024. GM and Ford had increase in sales. there were no massive price cuts from either of those car makers. Those automakers were still pushing metal with higher prices. So Stellantis doesn't need to cut prices by 35% and potentially tank their stock price. They just need to do what GM and Ford are doing, which is keep prices high, but not crazy high. And that'll do the trick, at least in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more honest car market updates, hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.